Today with Arvin Hopcraft, the creator of the Easy Self Control program. Now, I've got a question for you. Are you someone who struggles with confidence? You want to approach somebody to take them out on a date, but you don't feel like you are a good enough conversationalist, or maybe you don't think you're smart enough or good looking enough? Well, how would you like to feel like you do have those qualities? Feel confident about yourself and be able to approach that person and be able to do it within the next 30 days, even if you've never had that kind of confidence before. If you said yes, stick with me for the next few minutes because Arvin is going to show you exactly how you can do just that and do it within the next 30 days. So, Arvin, I'm going to patch you in. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
So,
Can
Arvin,
you hear me?
we're talking today about overcoming fear in dating. And I suspect that, for a lot of people that are, they don't have confidence about themselves, and so I forget who said it, but they live lives of silent desperation. They want to reach out to somebody, but they're not confident enough to do it.
Well, in asking that question, I'm sure I'm not alone because in my younger years, I was indeed that shy. I lacked that much confidence to ever, even phone anybody. And as a result, I spent a lot of lonely evenings by myself. And yeah, there's a lot of people out there, and one of the this is one of the main things I get asked for is to build confidence in that area from people who are phoning me and wanting help. Yes.
So you get these feelings of, I'm not as good as somebody else, or I'm not attractive enough. It's amazing because I mean I've heard, of people who are, considered by the world to be very attractive, and yet in their own mind, they don't feel that way. And maybe
I
I
know.
have to wonder because they are so attractive, people aren't approaching them because they don't feel confident enough about themselves to do it. And so everybody's got this junk in the trunk that's preventing them from reaching out.
Well, and that does happen too. I mean, in a case like that, that there's I worked with this one and she was beautiful, and nobody was asking her out because they assumed that they weren't good enough, that she would never go out with them, so they would turn her down anyway. And as a result, she was alone, and she said, "What can I do about it?" No, so there's all different angles that we can look at it, all different things, problems with the lacking confidence, and why she didn't just go to somebody and ask them, I don't know. It's because to me, it is not improper for a woman to ask a man out. I mean, it certainly does happen.
I think more and more. I mean, people, the whole, liberation movement, I think, has made a quite a change in how people relate to each other now.
It it certainly has. I mean, when I was young, in school and in my teen years, it wasn't. I don't think it was that common. But so then the guy had to have the nerve to pick up the phone and ask her out. And like I said, I lacked. Yeah, you know, and what ended up happening is I ended up marrying the person that I wasn't really compatible with because they were the first person that I seemed to click with. And even though I knew in my heart, I knew, I still went ahead and got married, even though it, I knew that I was settling for not what I was really looking for.
Arvin, you often talk about how people will do anything to avoid pain, and so I have to wonder, like the idea of the ego wanting to protect the person from feelings of rejection, and so rather than reach out to somebody, the ego says, "No, you're going to get hurt, so don't do it."
Well, indeed. Now, what it really is we will do more to avoid pain than to achieve pleasure. So, if there is too much pain in being turned down, in the embarrassment, in the rejection, then there's no way that you're going to make that call because you're too afraid. And it is the being turned down, which is, the totally confident person will pick up the phone, and if she says, "No, I don't think so," he'll say, "Oh, okay. Next, where's another phone number?" And he'll just keep on calling, right? That is the totally confident person. But if you were like I was when I was 16 years old, you finally have the nerve to pick it up, and if she says no, you think, "Oof, it'll be a long time before I make another phone call," and but That's where that lack of confidence comes in. So if there is pain involved in that rejection, you're going to be too afraid to pick up the call, pick up the phone and make the call. But as soon as the pain is of being alone is stronger, then you'll pick up the phone because you want to avoid that pain of being alone. And that is true. And so with any addiction or any habit that we want to stop, if the pain isn't stopping, you're not going to do it. You're not going to accomplish it.
I have to imagine for people who are, feeling inferior, they don't feel confident enough about themselves, attractive enough, smart enough, whatever, that junk in the trunk that I like to reference, that
I like that.
they end up settling maybe in a relationship that's not fair to the person who they've formed the relationship with, because they weren't being honest with themselves, and obviously not being honest with the person that they've have got into a relationship with, and it's not a good one, it's not a positive one. So people are just kind of connected together, but more out of, I don't know, settling for something rather than actually going for what they want, who they want.
They settle for, I hate to use the word second best, because I'm not in any way saying that anybody is better than anybody else, but as incompatible with the individual, it's
Right.
second best.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So then what happens is, 5, 6, 7 years later, because during the marriage, I mean, what easily happens is, well, I guess this is love. It must be, well, it's better than being alone, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so after a few years, lots of people say, this isn't better than being alone,
Mm-hmm.
and I would rather be alone than be with someone that I'm not really happy with. So how do I find someone that I'm happier with? And maybe now you've come out of your shell a bit, and now you have a little bit more confidence, and now you're starting to find out that, hey, wait a minute, there's other women attracted to me, or there's other men attracted to me, and all of a sudden you're looking, and you're searching, and all of a sudden your relationship that you had for the last few years ends
Right.
because you weren't compatible in the very beginning. Yes.
Yeah. Also, Arvin, people going on, like they for whatever, they had that moment of courage, and so they asked the person out, but because they don't feel confident about themselves, I have to wonder if they're not going to self-sabotage that relationship simply because they don't feel like they deserve to be with that person.
Well, indeed, and isn't that kind of what we would call self-presentation? How you present yourself. Because if you're out on a date and you're lacking confidence, you're going to be stumbling over your words. You're going to be speaking quiet. You're going to be, reserved, holding back, and the other person is going to have to carry the conversation, and they're going to get tired of that. So yeah, you're going to present yourself poorly, and that will sabotage the next. Either that or the other side of it is you're so excited and infatuated about finally being out with this person that you end up grabbing them by the shirt, mentally, and pulling them, and scaring them off in that way, like, and calling them twice a day afterwards, and all they want to do is say, I mean, I enjoyed the date, but back off a little bit, and that can happen so easily when you're not relaxed and calm and confident. Yes.
Arvin, I know that there are a lot of different programs out now for people to, you know, create confidence. I know that I've had an audio series that I got on affirmations. What I found was, to me, for me anyway, that telling myself that there was a whole series of things I was supposed to say to myself, but I found myself kind of like, okay, I'm going to say it, but in the back of my mind, I'm going, it's not true. I'm lying to myself. and but you've created a program that uses a number of different methods to conquer those fears. So for a person who's feeling like they're not worthy to be out with this person, they're not worthy to ask for a date for this with this person, your program that you've created can actually help people with that, and on a more broader level, I think, than just simply like the affirmations thing. You've got a whole bunch of different things that you put together. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, affirmations alone, I mean, I've been using them for years, and they didn't always work for me when I was just using that. But then when I first studied meditation, and that's how I brought about a lot of changes in my own life and in my own confidence level, and using affirmations, recorded or whatever, along with the meditation. Then I studied hypnosis, realizing that not everybody learns at the same rate, and nor in the same way. So then studying hypnosis and self-hypnosis. And then even that, I realized that that alone may not be enough. So then I studied EFT, or tapping, and NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and Reiki. And this is just to mention a few of the things that I've studied. And I put together the best, what I consider the best of those programs, and turned it into the programs that we have at Easy Self-Control, and which is faster than just hypnosis alone, and extremely easy to use.
And probably a
Yes.
lot faster than just simply saying, "I'm worthy, I'm worthy, I'm worthy." Because if you have the, if you're on, I was listening to Tony Robbins once, and he was talking about the conscious mind as kind of like a guard that protects the unconscious mind from anything bad. And so, and the same thing, it can conversely could be anything good. If the guard's going to say, "No,
Exactly.
that's not true. That's not true," right?
Well, which is indeed the conscious mind coming in. I like that, that it's standing guard, because if something comes in, you say, "I am really full of confidence. I am worthy," and the conscious mind is what is the intellect, which things have to make sense for the conscious mind. The subconscious mind doesn't have to make sense; it just accepts and creates a reality. The
Right.
conscious mind is the one that stops it, says, "No, you don't have any confidence. That's not true. We're not letting that through." And and then all you're going to be doing is saying the words. And if all you do is say the words, no, they have very little impact. But if you say those words during a self-hypnosis or hypnosis session, where we're bypassing the conscious mind, that's when they can be effective.
So, Arvin, for people who are out there right now, and there's, I'm sure, millions of people struggling with feelings of inferiority, they don't have the confidence to go out and form a really strong relationship with somebody or approach somebody. How can they get in touch with you to learn about your program?
Just click on the link below, or go to easyselfcontrol.com, and all the information is there. And if you wonder more, just go to the comment section and write your question down. Say, "I'd like more info on, whatever it is." And I will answer you. I'll send you back the answers.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Arvin, for taking time for this interview.
Thank you, Chuck. You have a good day.
You too. Take care.